The 7 deadly sins of personal branding. Michael and I wrote this article for Realtor Magazine last year, actually, and they asked us to write some things that a lot of realtors may be doing wrong in their personal branding aspect of things. And so we came up with 7 deadly sins of personal branding, and that's what we're going to take a look at now. So, number one, if you have no differentiation, that is a deadly sin, right? So you see all these people here that look exactly the same. Actually, that is the most common thing that's happening in the real estate industry today. Hats off to all you guys for choosing a totally different path, because what's happening is you've got hundreds of agents entering the market. You have very few of them that actually stand out because they're using a lot of the same marketing tools and trainers and platforms that everybody else is using, but they're using them all the same way. And so that, in effect, means no differentiation. And when there is no differentiation, it kind of leaves the customer a little confused about who to choose, right? So no longer with you guys, though. So one of the things that Michael and I say about differentiation is great branding isn't about being known for your profession. It's about being known for being different in your profession. And that's really what you're here to do. Deadly sin number 2 is having no focus. This is, folks, the biggest fear of all business owners and entrepreneurs. And that's what you guys are, in effect. You real estate agents are very entrepreneurial in nature, and you also own your own business, in effect. And so the fear of focus is the greatest fear in business. And so we like to say, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that is because we tend to take on a whole lot more than we should. We tend to think that just because a potential prospect comes along, we should jump all over them and spend all our time with them. And that really just does waste a lot of time for you guys. I've had lots of discussions with probably all of you on the phone, actually, because I make it a point to have this conversation, that just because we brand you guys for a specific focus or to have an ideal customer or two to really put your sights on doesn't mean that you never do business with somebody else outside those parameters again. All it really means is that you don't waste your time and money marketing to people outside that focus. Because if you spend time on your focus is going to come right back to you. And then you're going to spend time doing business with people you want to do business with every single day. The third one is no authenticity. We always like to say people want to know the story behind the face, and that's the behind the scenes. And that means whatever your brand is, each one of you, I know, because we made it a point that you do, feels that your brand is very authentic to who you truly are. So you don't have to leave the house every morning with a cartoon brand. You leave the house with a brand that really fits you, not only fits you, but is important to that ideal customer you're seeking to do business with every day. And so a quote that we have about this is, it's important to be the most memorable person in the room, but it's more important to be the most memorable person after you leave the room. And what's really important about that is that authenticity shines like nothing else. So when you're in a room, people are going to know, are you the person that you put out there? And you will be if you come through this program. We're going to make sure of it. And because that's very important to you and to us. So that is one of the things that will stand out most about you. They've heard about you before you enter the room in most instances by the time you get through this program. So we want to make sure they remember you for all the right reasons. This one is no consistency. It's kind of like exercise, right? You have to be very consistent. And actually a quote that Michael came up with not long ago is, success is the consistency you practice when you can't instantly see the benefit of the results. Think about that for a minute. When we go out and exercise, we don't instantly see the benefits of that. When we go out and change our elevator pitch or get a photo shoot or redo our Facebook, cover photo, we don't instantly see the result from that one thing. We see the results from the things that we do every single day, all the way from prospecting to follow through. And that's what's really important. So consistency is huge. The next is no content. A lot of people like to say, well, I don't have a lot of time to spend on content. Guys, all you really need is one truly good piece of content to do a few things, to set you apart as the expert and authority in your chosen niche, and also to make sure that you capture the contact information from people who want to download that content. What you guys are looking at on your screen right now is an ebook from David Wright out of Nashville, Tennessee. And the ebook is The 6 Myths Behind Why Your Home Isn't Selling and Why 90% of Real Estate Professionals Can't Help You. That's a very compelling title, right? And it looks beautiful. His brand is Real Estate Refined. So he has a very upscale luxury type image. It is a gorgeous cover, and you know, that really sets him apart as the expert. So when you don't have content, and content doesn't have to be this complex thing, but when you don't have some type of content or some way to showcase the knowledge and expertise that you do have in your area, whatever that is, then people don't see you the way you deserve to be seen. And that content is just that extra little step and effort you take to make sure that you put it out there. We also love this quote. When it comes to people in real estate, as real estate agents, you know, and people involved in this industry, we all kind of already know a lot of things about it, right? But what we don't realize oftentimes is people don't know what they don't know. And a lot of times I was on the phone with somebody today on a strategy session, and we were talking about the fact they were dealing with so many people who just thought they all already knew everything about real estate. They were know-it-alls, right? You guys no doubt have dealt with many of them. So you need to remember, they don't know what they don't know. And they definitely don't know what you know. And one of the ways you got to get that across is through this expert content. No call to action. And this is a big mistake that a lot of people make. I see millions of dollars in advertising and marketing wasted every single year with ads that basically just do some bland and basic and vanilla branding, but they don't have a call to action. And when you don't tell people what to do, what the expectations are, and what's going to make their life better, they don't know. So one of the quotes we came up with is, prospects will come up with many reasons not to use you when they don't know how to use you. Think about that for a minute. If you're not telling them what to do or telling them what sets you apart and how you can make their life better, they're going to come up with every excuse in the world not to use you because they don't know how to use you. Okay? And then the final one, no follow through, is what we're talking about here. And this is so critical. You can put all the puzzle pieces into place, you can drum up the business, but if you don't follow up with that client to make sure, hey, have I sent you everything you need to see? Here's one more piece. What can I do for you next? Hey, the next step might be, let's meet for coffee and let's talk about this. Let me drive you over to that neighborhood I was talking about. Going that extra mile. And this is the part where so many people fail. That is the lack of follow through. So one of the things that I learned, you know, just a few years ago when I was going through really a tough personal time in my life, you know, I came up with this saying that is just so true to me now. The only way around it is through it. We can think of 1,000 ways to get around doing the right thing, around doing what we know has to be done, or around doing the tough things. And at the end of the day, there's only one way to do it, and that's through it, right? The only way around it is through it. So I hope that helps you guys this evening. At this point then, if there's no other questions, what I'm going to do is turn it over to my fine partner, Michael Carr, and let him kind of just, you know, give us some comments on tonight's material and share anything with you guys that he wants to share tonight.
Thank you, Tanya. This actually is one of my favorite of the articles that we've written because of the tie-in with the word, the deadly sins, you know, and how important it is that we exercise as many of those as possible. And I just wanted to say, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, what should I say at the end of this thing to sort of tie this up together for some people, especially the newer people that have joined the program. When we talk about, you know, going after your ideal customer, and how you started off with a conversation tonight about, it doesn't mean you can't work with anybody, but you're looking for that specific person, and the targeting and the messaging and the branding is all about looking for that specific person that you want to do business with, and you can name them whatever you want, your A-listers or your cool people or however you want to categorize those particular ideal customers are the ones you're supposed to be going to. But then keep yourself open for the other stuff. But it's about time management for you guys, and it's about mental management, because I know what it's like to sit in those years where you're trying to get a business started, or you've got a business started and you're in a downturn, and you're sitting around and you're like, I'll take any customer that'll fog a mirror. And you have to do that. That is very important, right? So, and Tanya's done it. She sold vacuum cleaners door to door. When my auction career was, when I was trying to kick it off, I built fences for a living. Like, we've always been willing, as well as the people on this phone call and that'll listen to it later, have been willing to put in an extra mile. And so I just want to help you, like, sort of compartmentalize it if that's what you need. It's about your time management, and it's about your mental management. So take all the opportunities that you have, especially if you're getting your brand going and you're sitting around and twiddling thumbs. But just begin to work on the corners that can be cut with the people that are going to drag you down. And people don't always drag you down out of malicious intent, right? Most of the time, 99% of the time, there's absolutely no malice at all to the fact that they are completely wasting your time. They may be dreaming themselves. But as professionals, we need to be the authorities, and we need to be the ones to say, okay, look, I know you want this house, and we can get you this house. But the problem is we've got to clean up this credit, and you won't call the loan officer and work through the steps that it takes for us to get you qualified. And until you do that, you have to do that. So I encourage you, and while you're working out how is this going to work and you're getting the phone to ring, take the deals, protect your time management and your mental management to get to that point. And then eventually what you're going to find is that so many deals are crossing your desk, you're able to cherry pick your A-listers, your cool people, the people you truly want to deal with. And then you can begin to build a network of other people that would like to have those opportunities that you've already worked through. So hopefully that makes sense. And other than that, follow stay away from the 7 deadly sins. And thank you, Tanya, for another fantastic workshop.
Thank you, Michael. Hey, nice segue into something I wanted to share tonight too. I'm so glad you picked up on ideal customer, because I was actually on a strategy call this afternoon with folks. I can't remember where they were from right now, but husband and wife team. And they said to me, look, we've been kind of just like chasing everybody. We've had our nose to the ground like a dog, in a hunt or something. And I said, guys, you need to stop being the hound and start being the pointer, for goodness sake. And they just laughed. But, I come from the South. I'm from the country. I've been bird hunting with bird dogs, so I know exactly what that means. The hound puts the nose down and they follow without even looking. They just follow wherever the prey goes, right? But a pointer can go seek, and they point, and they head right for the prey. They don't take any, they don't get led astray. As we say, don't get led astray by the prey. They don't get led astray. They head straight for whatever they're pointing for. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for a little craziness this afternoon. That'll hopefully put everything in perspective. So anyway, guys, thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful week. And you're welcome, Dan. And everybody have a wonderful week. And you know where to find us if you need us. You too, Cindy. You have a great night too. And over and out, guys. Ciao.